Hi, this is How We Met, where we get to hear how couples met and fell in love. I'm Gary White here with,
Yvonne McNary.
and today we have a couple with us from Springfield, Kentucky, JT and Carla Burton. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And we're going to get to hear the story of how the two of you met. And it started about 30 years ago, I'm told, right?
Yep, 1991.
Okay. Well, tell us, how did the two of you first meet?
Okay, you want to go?
You can tell your version.
Okay, well, okay.
There's two versions.
We're both. She's 2 years ahead of me in school. Okay,
Mhm.
and it's gonna kind of crazy, but when I was in the sixth grade, we came from two totally different backgrounds. Meaning, she was, I've been running the streets. Got to be honest, since I was a young age, and at the sixth grade, we met at the bottom of Hilltop. She was going to an eighth grade prom, and it was some friend's house she was going into. And back then, we didn't have any cell phones, anything like that. So my friends and I was hanging out in front of the store, which was at the bottom of the Hilltop, called Fats Garden at the time. Mr. Garden owned the store. We called it Fats. Okay, and the store is now closed. And she was walking in. I can tell you exactly what she had on. She had a white dress on with some white. Who is that just walked in that house? She's beautiful. So,
Was that love at first sight?
Oh yes, most definitely from her eyes, not both her eyes.
No.
No. For me it was. For her, no. But for me it was, and that's my version of how we met. So after we got done, of course I forgot how I got a phone number, but then we had to stay on the phone and call each other on the phone and stuff like that. So because we didn't have cell phones.
All right, Carla, your turn.
My version is about the same, Yvonne, except for when he said he saw me, it was a little different than, I don't know, kind of being polite. Hello, who are you? I just hear this guy across the street screaming, who is that girl? I gotta know her name. Somebody's gotta get me her name. And all I remember is he never went away after that.
Now, did you have a date with you when he was doing all that hollering?
No, I did not. Thankfully, I did not. But I don't think he would care.
I didn't care. No, but she was going into some friend's house, and that's how we met. So I forget. I think I did everything I could because I'm relentless when I want something. So I got a phone number, and we started with the phone conversations. I got rejected a couple of times, but.
And when he says relentless, he means I was in the band, so he became the little drummer boy. And he could be in the band. I joined the marching band, and all of a sudden I see him running the flags.
Relentless.
I used to be with her because I knew she was in the band, and I love to play basketball and football, but so I couldn't do both. They wouldn't let us do both. So I just said, okay, what I'll do on Saturdays is I'll run the flag. So meaning when they change scenes, I had to run out there, pick up the flag, pick up the equipment, and run off the field. So
now when you're talking about this, you're talking about you've gone from sixth grade up to what, 8th or 10th grade?
8th grade, 10th grade, 12th.
All through high school, all through my junior high, elementary. I mean, I did this, at a young age. I'm telling you, like in 6th, 7th grade.
Isn't that against the law? Is that called stalking?
Nah. And she wanted me around. She didn't want to tell her friends, but she wanted me around.
Is that true, Carla?
That's true. His mouth was really big, and he always made me feel like I was special. So yes, I did want him around.
So that first encounter when you were in 6th and 8th grade, and he called at you across the street. When was your actual first date then?
Well,
maybe a month later.
Yeah, probably. They used to have the 8th grade dances and stuff like that. And then, back then it's all about who you knew. You know what I mean? I was young, but I can sell ice to an Eskimo. So meaning that I could get in that dance if I needed to. And I did. So and I got in.
Okay, so what did your friends think about this? You dating an older woman?
You know, it was. It hurt. See, we in age, we only a year apart. It's just from day like school wise, we're 2 years apart. I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
So, you know, with that being said, you know, we only a year apart in age. I'm talking about like from like almost to the date. She's born December, I was born November. So,
But when you're like in the 8th grade and a 6th grader is kind of like, even though it's just a year apart, that's a big thing. 2 age levels when you're in 6th and 8th grade. What did your friends think of this going on, Carla?
Well, my friends actually grew up with him, so they lived in the same place as he did. So he was just as mature as they were. So it really wasn't a big deal because he was pretty mature.
Yeah, 6th grade. I mean, I know it sounds, you know, crazy, but when I was in the 6th grade, I had seen enough, been through enough to, you know, I was
street smarts and everything. So.
We two totally different backgrounds. It's unbelievable.
So you first encounter, and then you went to the 8th grade dance. Got into the 8th grade dance anyway.
Yeah.
Have you been together ever since?
Yes.
Ever since.
I used to sign him out of school, and we would go to the Adult Hour.
At the Adult Park in Lincoln Park.
We would go to the park and sit on the swings and just talk.
Wow.
Because she
Wow.
went to.
So it was meant to be, huh?
Yes. Like, if you want to do a timeline, we stayed together the whole time, and then, you know, going through high school. Once I got to high school, see, when we finally got to the same building back then, she was like a sophomore when I was in the 8th grade. Okay, but we had what we called a smoking area. We had a 10-minute break where everybody could be together.
Yeah.
You know, back then. That's how we could, because the junior high was in the same building as the high school, but it was on the opposite end of the building. But I could finagle my way to, you know, to get on that side and hang out with them because our schedules was, you know, basically the same bell schedule, so to speak.
Ride the same bus. I mean, he found any way.
Guys, I lived on Hilltop. She lived in Gymtown, and I would ride the Gymtown bus just to be there.
Oh,
how romantic!
Yes, that's very sweet. Is he still romantic?
He's still romantic, but I won't say as much as he was because I remember I might have been in the 10th or the 11th grade, and he used to come in every morning in the gym. I would get there pretty early because my bus was early, and he would bring me donuts. Him and his mom would stop and bring me donuts every single morning. I would get those donuts.
So the families had figured out what was going on, huh?
Well,
His side.
Both families figured out what was going on. They were all cool with it.
His side figured out what was going on. My side didn't have a clue.
Well, her mother kind of knew.
She might have known.
She knew. Her daddy, no.
He was the best friend.
No.
So did your dad not like JT or didn't want you dating? What was the issue there?
My dad is very protective of me, so he just did not like me dating at all.
Okay.
He didn't like it. You think about this though, guys. I mean, Carla's a straight A student. I mean, you know, very good student. She's got a future ahead of herself. And then you got this little kid that everybody knows as a bad kid who runs the streets and been on the streets his whole life as young. You know what I mean?
And a big mouth.
And I would say anything to anybody. I didn't care. So with that being said, you got to see his side as well. I mean, he was like, he was the worst dude out of the bunch. So,
It's happened. Okay, so now it's 30 years later, but we have some time in between there because you both went to Washington County High School there in Springfield. What happened when college time came about?
Oh, okay. So I went to St. Catherine for 2 years. So
Okay.
that was pretty easy because, of course, he was still here and he was still in school. But then I went to Transylvania and he attended St. Catherine. So I just drove home every single weekend.
Oh, okay.
That's when the hook, line, and sinker. It was over.
You knew you had her then, huh?
Yes. Well, you know, it was we kind of lived a unique life. I mean, for a long time, because she was always 2 years ahead of me. And, you know, when she was in Lexington, I was at St. Catherine. Then when I graduated from St. Catherine, she was done with school. And then I went on to Tennessee Wesleyan. So I even went further away, was 4.5 hours away. But she used to, drive there. I mean, we could go back. I tell you one thing I forgot to mention. When we was in high school and she had graduated, she got a job. No, I take it back. When I went to Tennessee Wesleyan, she got a job at Save-A-Lot, and she used to get $40 a check, and she would send it to me because my family, they'd help me, but we just didn't have a lot. So she would take care of me like that. She would send me $40 every week, every 2 weeks.
That's wonderful. Oh,
that's sweet.
You can't beat a love like that, can you?
No, not with a stick.
Not with a big stick.
So, JT, people in the community know that you are a coach with basketball. And tell us about your career there, too, and because that has taken you lots of different places as well, correct?
Yes. I've been starting off, you want to go all the way back. I graduated from Tennessee Wesleyan and got my undergrad in 1999. So from 99 to 2001, I was at St. Catherine as an assistant coach. Then I went from there to Marshalltown, Iowa, which she used to drive 13 hours to come see me. And I lived because my living situation, in basketball, you don't make money, especially back then. Starting off, I made $72 a month, and I lived in a closet.
A closet.
I lived in a walk-in closet. Yes. And then they put me a desk, a bed that fit right in the corner, and a computer with a phone in there. It was it. I mean, I was perfect, though. I was content. So you go from Marshalltown, Iowa. Then I went to Chipola for a little while in Florida, the coldest place to the hottest place. And then I left Chipola Junior College, which is 2-year schools. I came back home and started a job as the boys assistant coach, and I was in special ed, and I had to get my master's degree in special education. Okay.
At Washington County High School? At
Washington County High School. Then I coached the girls' job when Mr. Newton, the late great Mr. Newton, retired. I got the job. Was there for 4 years, and in 2000, I think 4 and 5, we went to the state tournament. That's when we had that big run with Brittany Ely, Katie Filiatru, Stacy Tope, Wendy, all those girls that I had. Best team I've ever had. And then I went there. Then I said, you know what? I came home in the summer, and that's when I realized that teaching just wasn't for me. And I told Carla that I'm giving up this job and I'm going back to coaching. And she looked at me like I was out of my mind, but she did support me, though. So I went back and I went to St. Catherine. They were still a 2-year school, which was in 2006-7. Okay.
I think that's when I met you, JT.
Yes, 2007-8. And then I was there for a year as an assistant under Wade O'Connor. And then they went from 2-year to 4-year. That's when I became the head coach in 2008-9. And then I was there till 2013 for 6 years and had some success there. Then I went success there. And then I went to University of Tennessee as a player development guy for 1 year. And then we got, unfortunately, bad situation, got let go. I started working for Chad. Some people don't know this, but Chad Newby, my former player, gave me a job in Louisville. And I work with people with traumatic brain injuries. And guys, that was one of the toughest times of my life, because for the first time, I considered that having to work. I was in a dark place during that time, because I never had, guys, a 9 to 5 since I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? Basketball, I've always used to it. So I'd done that for like 2 or 3 months, and then I got Motlow, in Tennessee. Went there for 2 years. Then had success there. Got the sister's job at Moorhead for a year. And then now I'm at Tusculum. Just finish up my 2 years.
And you are the head coach there.
Yes. I've been I've only been an assistant 1 year, and that was at Moorhead State.
Mm-hmm.
And where is Tusculum?
Tusculum's in Greenville, Tennessee. It's in East Knoxville. It's close to Johnson City.
Uh-huh.
Forge, Gatlinburg, all those places in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, when did you two actually get married?
2001.
2001.
Yes.
Is there? You're laughing, so there might be a funny story to that.
It's funny because I remember when he proposed, he was, I don't know, he was kind of upset about him going away to school, and I think he was unsure how our relationship was going to continue to keep going since he went so far in Tennessee. And then all of a sudden, he just pops the question to ask me to marry him. Well, of course, I said yes. But the next morning when we wake up, I call and ask him, was you for real or was this a joke? And he had convinced me the whole day that it was for real. So
once she was convinced, we was married within 6 months.
A year.
It was, yeah. We got married just like that. It was, but we had a beautiful wedding. We had one of the biggest, looking back, our wedding, we had 46 people in our wedding.
Yeah. My cousin and I planned, her name is Valerie Hamilton. We planned my wedding because we already knew what we wanted, and we planned it just like that. We saved money every weekend. We went out shopping, and we just put the wedding together pretty fast.
And how many people did you say?
46.
You had 46 people in the wedding?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Wow.
I surprised her. She wanted, it's crazy. It's weird how God works, because that morning, when we got married at St. Dominic's, and they had her down in the building where the school is, the school building, of course, me and the church. And she had wanted limousines for us to ride off in. But her biggest, thing she wanted was a horse and buggy. So the horse and buggy, I didn't tell her. So I had gotten the horse and buggy and take it. It is pouring down raining at this time. Okay? And then all of a sudden, by the time when people start filing in, it was time for her to come from the school to the church. It stopped. Sun come out.
Wow.
So we had this big old huge wedding come out. And it's funny because I looked at it last night, some stuff that I didn't know. We wrote on vows. We still got those. And
you surprised me.
I surprised her with the horse and buggy.
Oh, that is so nice. That's wonderful.
We had a lot of people at that wedding and reception. It was
nice.
Thousands.
Well, Carla, how did you put all that together? 46, 47 people in your wedding.
My cousin helped me. So we're pretty organized and disciplined. So I think the people knew, we better listen to them. And they were family and they did well. We didn't have any problem with the children or anything.
Okay, and you had everything at St. Dominic's?
St. Dominic's, yes, ma'am.
Right there in Springfield.
Yes, indeed.
Very nice.
Big
now,
day.
Yes, so you got married in 2001, and at that time, you were still in college, or you were starting your first job?
I was out of college.
Yeah, I was 2000 when we got married. That's when I was transitioning from the summer. I was going from Marshalltown, Iowa to Chipola in Florida. And then I left Chipola, came back home, and then that's when we got married.
Now, after you got married, where did you live?
Right here.
We lived after we got married, this house that we're in now is the house that we bought. We at the age of 25, we had no kids. Both of us had degrees. I had my master's degree, and we bought a house.
Okay.
In Springfield.
Springfield, yes.
Now, have you been traveling? Do you travel around to all of his different jobs? Have you been traveling, you and the kids, to the different locations?
Yes, we have. It has not always been fun. We've had to do homework early. We're on the road all the time. Then we started to pick up weight because we were always eating on the road. I was like, this got to change.
So, speaking of kids, you have 2?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about your children.
Well, the oldest one, her name is Alexis, but we call her Lucky. And then the youngest one is Jada, but we call her Fancy.
So one is 17, that's Alexis, and then one is 12, and that's Jada.
Okay.
Now tell us about these nicknames, particularly Fancy. Why Fancy?
Well, because Lucky, to be honest with you, we didn't really. Well, she didn't. We really didn't want kids. Okay, we hadn't planned on having kids, and we just didn't. We thought we was gonna live this life with no kids, and just travel and do all that stuff. Well, obviously. So Alexis came along, and she's named after her mother, Alexis Yvette, and
we just tell her she was very lucky to be here because I called the place of where I took the pregnancy test. I called the 800 number like 2 or 3 times to is the test wrong? What's wrong with this test? Yeah. So we just call her Lucky because I was distraught. Like, am I really pregnant?
Yeah. So that's why we call it Lucky. And then Jada comes along. She's named after me. Her name is Jada Tamari, JT. And we call her Fancy because if you see, like I just posted on my IG, when she was little, ever since she was little up until now, she's always got to have her hair done, hair dressed up, clothes a certain way. She even goes to bed now. She does her hair before she goes to bed.
Before she goes to bed.
She wants to look good when she wakes up.
I guess so.
Yeah, so
I have no idea why she does that. But I do know we named Alexis after me, and she looks exactly like JT. And we named Jada after him, and she looks exactly like me. We got it all.
Wow, that's great.
That's great.
Well, how do the girls like you're moving around?
Well, when you say moving around, how can we say this? Carla hasn't really, this is the first time that girls have, went to a different school. Okay. Now, Carla still comes back and forth to Springfield, to Greenville a lot.
Yeah. Take care of my parents.
Yeah, take care of her parents, help my parents. So the girls love it though. Like now, you talking, it was a shock now when they went from Washington County High School where they grew up, everybody knows them, to going to Greenville at first. Because I always go back to Fancy's high school, junior high, from when it goes 6th to 8th grade. And they got 760 kids to go to school there, just in the junior high alone. And then you go to Alexis Lucky's high school, and they got over 1,500, 2,000 students. When they first got there, it was a culture shock. Too many kids, but now you can't get them away.
Yeah,
they love it.
They adjusted really well, and I think that kind of helped me feel a little bit better about them actually moving with JT because I watched those 2 girls and I really thought, okay, this is probably going to be the end of them. They're going to be depressed. I don't know. But they did not do any of that. They really enjoy it. And I think it's because they love, being around their dad, which I didn't move. So they were hardly ever with him.
Yeah. So now they get to travel. They go to games. They go to practices. They go to everywhere with me. It's, for me, you can't ask for anything else. Perfect.
Well, I see them with you in a lot of pictures here on the internet.
Yeah, they're with me. I got a great administration, so they allow them to, to travel with me and go with them. So, I tell Lucky all the time, she's going to be my assistant coach. So she's got to start from the bottom.
Well, do you think your girls have those basketball skills?
They had them, but you know what? They don't. I didn't press them. We didn't press them well. I didn't press him to play basketball.
I wanted to, but he did not.
No, I didn't. I always told myself because I knew I've seen this side of that basketball side of dads and parents and their kids, and I told myself I was never going to do my girls like this. So, do they have the skills? Yeah. Do they play? No.
Okay.
Jada is a dancer. Jada dances.
Okay. Yeah. She had the pretty hair when she does that.
She don't want to do anything. Anything requires a little sweat, she's not doing it.
No.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. This has been great of how we met. And again, it's JT and Carla Burton sharing their story of how they met. And it's been 30 years since your first encounter. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can.
I just keep thinking, how have I put up with his mouth for 30 years?
It's been a long time now, 30 years. Ooh. But it's been fun. It's it's been just like anything else, everybody else. It's been a roller coaster, but
yeah,
it's been fun.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations for making it this far, thus far, and for and hopes for years to come.
Absolutely.
We have an anniversary June the 2nd,
19 years. Married.
Okay. How many years? So that will be 19 years, you said, married?
Uh-huh.
Oh, fabulous. So are you planning some big trip for the 20th?
Well, you know what? I don't know, because
I'd like to go back to Jamaica.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that far, man. I'm a 3 feet guy. Whatever's in front of me, 3 feet, and that's the way I live, and that's it.
You have to live around his basketball, basically.
Is that where you went on your honeymoon? Was Jamaica?
No, we went to Mexico. My dad sent us to Mexico for a week.
Cancun. Yep.
Okay. Very good. So your dad finally did come around to JT.
Yeah, he did. He came around, except for when we got ready to leave for the honeymoon, and I was getting ready to get on the plane. It kind of fell apart because I started crying. My parents were crying, and I'm like, "Am I really leaving my parents?" So I think that was a little hard, but it did help. As far as you just have to take this leap of faith and trust JT.
When I graduated though from college, that kind of changed. It's really showed me that I was it, because I can't. Now I got 2 girls. So with that said, I don't blame you. So I don't blame you, but I tell my girls all the time, I got more education than anybody in this house.
Yeah, we have a picture where JT graduated at Tennessee Wesleyan, and you can see my dad. He has the biggest smile on his face in that picture, so we always keep that picture.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Well, I know too, your mom is really proud of you, JT.
Yeah, I just told her before we was gonna be on. She was happy. She loves this type of stuff. So
we'll give her our best.
Yes,
I will.
Have your girls started dating?
No. Oh no. Oh no. Not yet. We ain't no.
Not.
No. We've got. It's gonna come. Lucky's about to start college within a year or 2. So the good thing about that though, she has to go wherever I'm working at. So.
Yeah. So you're telling us that there's no JT in her life?
Now, you know what, Miss Mary, I hope so, because JT's a really good guy. He is, but I just don't want the background. You know what I mean? The stuff that comes with that. Nah. So to answer your question, nah, probably not.
Okay.
Well, JT, I'd like to say you came out pretty good. You came out pretty good.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Again, this has been How We Met with the Burtons. Thank you very much.